I am pro-choice. Yeah. Do I?
Is there anywhere where your pro-choiceness
Yes.
stops?
Yes. There is.
Could I ask you where? I find these conversations really fascinating.
Well, me too. I find
Most
these
people
conversations.
like you, if I can guess.
Yeah.
I want to
Go ahead.
respect aren't down with like she's a week away from delivery. Okay.
No.
Right.
And
I just want to know why.
But I'm very pro-choice, and I think when you get into the question of like, well, is there a line? Then you kind of make it seem like I'm less pro-choice than I am, because I don't think most people,
The reason that
in general, ever are that way. I don't
What's your name, by
think
the way?
Addie.
Addie.
Nice to
Seth. The reason that pro-lifers like me ask that question, Addie,
Yeah.
is because I hope you see it's a natural question. Because when a pro-choice person says, "I support a woman's right to abortion," but not like in the ninth month.
Right.
The natural question for a curious person like myself is, why not? So like, because it seems like you grant some dignity. Is that fair?
I do, yes.
Or some right to life. So
And I think that
naturally, we have to go.
I think-
Why there?
Because I think it comes with like, I think a lot needs to be done to like the system for women who are who become pregnant to be educated about it and to get the right health care and to get all this to make sure it doesn't get to a point to where you're 9 months in and then all of a sudden you can't just change your mind.
But
You know?
it seems like you think that's wrong. Is that fair?
I think that that's wrong. If you have the right health care and you have all the resources and you,
But what if you didn't and the baby was in its last 2 weeks?
I think that
Is there
I don't
something
think.
about it?
I mean, I don't think that that's really a question right now because I don't think anyone would perform an abortion
No, they do.
that. Well, if it was an endanger to the woman's life.
Not even that. Yeah, there's elective abortions in the third trimester. I mean, third trimester abortions, by the way, are roughly like 1% of the annual. But we do about a million.
Which is why
we do about a
do-
million
Which
abortions in
is
America.
why I'm not like super. Like I'm not super educated on like
It's fine.
how much is going on, which is why I come into this very like
Yeah.
I'm an anthropology major. I'm very.
But do you think?
I want to
I
know
guess-
all
do
the
you think-
sides.
Do you think the
But
baby
I
has a
think
right to
that-
life?
I think that that's
later
almost like.
trimester?
I almost think that that's kind of not an argument that I want to even have in this conversation. Because it's like, I understand what you're trying to say, and I understand that like they do have a right to life, but it's like, what do we do about that right now? And right now it comes back to just like dealing with the medical care that needs to happen for more women and for there needs to be more accessibility
But
to
that's
all
where we
these
all began,
things.
right?
Yes, and
Like
so
I believe
You
that
believe
9-month
that?
Addie in your mother's womb that you had dignity and a right to life. That trumped your parents or your mother's interests. Meaning that
Right.
if they did not want you and they wanted to kill you in utero through a late-term abortion, I believe you still had a right to life and dignity. And that's where we all came from. Right? I often say abortion is wrong because I was once a fetus.
Well,
I
think
didn't
it
change my
wouldn't-
fundamental nature. That was still me at one point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that does make sense, but I don't think. I think there's also a difference between the lives that are here on, like, here with consciousness and
Okay,
with,
good. See? No, this is helpful.
with,
So,
like-
do you think that sort of consciousness or self-awareness is
I think they come-
decisive or value-giving
No,
in
no,
rights?
no.
Okay.
Let me speak.
Sure.
I think whether or not I agree on abortion or when it should happen, that's a very gray area for me. I still don't even quite know, like, whatever. I'm pro-choice, but I mean, there are moral dilemmas with how late it comes. I think first and foremost, the top priority should be the people not getting the help they need, the care they need, the health care, the knowledge that they need on Earth right now.
Unborn
Like,
babies are on Earth right now.
with consciousness right now, like,
See, that's why I asked that. I said, do you think consciousness is somehow tied into or significant with one's right to life or personhood?
I think the person with
Because I don't think so. For example, let's say consciousness is decisive in personhood and a right to life. If immediate consciousness is decisive, then when we sleep, we lose personhood. I don't believe this, but this is what follows. If it's the immediate capacity for consciousness, we would lose personhood and a right to life when we're under surgery, with anesthesia. But that's not how I define personhood. Because if you ground personhood, this is what I'm trying to say, Addie. If you ground personhood on something that may come and go, or comes in varying degrees, then it follows that rights and personhood can come and go.
No, I'm looking at it in a very two-dimensional way. I'm looking at it as you are a clump of cells and you are a developed human.
We're all walking clumps of cells, a lot of cells. But I have 3 children, and I went to the ultrasound appointments. Yeah.
Okay. Does that have anything to do with your thoughts here?
Yes and no. So here's why. Usually I don't like yes and no answers,
well,
but I believe that we have. Well, let me answer it.
The science of it.
I believe that we are created in the image of God.
Yeah.
And that we do have dignity.
Okay.
But guess what? It's funny. We work with these atheist groups who are pro-life, and they go, I oppose abortion for the same reasons I oppose infanticide, the killing of infants after birth. And they say it's because I believe in human rights that begin at the moment we become human. And if we don't ground it on that, then what else do we base it on? So yes, I believe ultimately our value, not just as unborn people, but as all human beings, does come from the image of God, that God created us. But I would assume, let's say you're not a Christian, I assume you would oppose men raping women or killing infants.
Yeah.
Right. So we can agree that there are some things that are morally wrong, regardless of religion. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So I'm saying if it's wrong to kill infants or toddlers,
but I don't. I think that
why should it be
comes
okay
with,
to kill them in the womb?
I'd love to see the actual steps.
So a culture that does allow the raping of women and killing of toddlers, you're okay with because each culture's got its own morals.
I understand.
No.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
But I think that's a personal, I think
I can apply it across.
we're bringing it way far away from the problem at hand, which is actually in America. And I think, I know, and you love to say that, but you love to say that just to make it seem like your point is just a little bit more valid. But if we're coming down to where it actually is where the actual problems are in America right now, I think it starts at the people who are living currently right now. It starts at the healthcare. It starts.
I would say most of the
problems
problems facing America is because we've killed 70 million babies in the last 50 years. That once the right to life doesn't apply to all humans, then what grounds the rest of our rights to life? Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Have you studied or looked at the thalidomide babies from the late 50s?
How do you feel about the death penalty?
60s?
Sorry. Maybe a different question.
No,
That's a
it's
different
fine.
conversation.
Yeah. Have you heard of thalidomide in the late 50s, early 60s?
What is that?
So it's an anti-nausea drug.
Okay.
My wife, unfortunately, she doesn't lose her nausea during pregnancy. She gets it all 9 months, and so she would love a medication to get rid of that. And nothing she's tried has helped. So let's say a young woman like that gets pregnant, and she can't. Anything she takes doesn't stop the nausea.
Right.
Well, she goes and gets thalidomide, which was banned decades ago.
Okay.
It got rid of pregnancy nausea. Here's the thing: all these babies were born without any arms. They're called. One second. They're called the thalidomide babies. And so it was horrific because it caused babies to be born without any arms.
Yeah.
So it's illegal now. Let's say a young woman here with intractable nausea during pregnancy, her OB won't give her it. She gets it illegally, knowing full well what it can do.
Yeah.
And 5 months later, her baby's born without any arms. Did she do anything wrong?
For me personally, that is wrong because I believe that
But why?
because I don't want to have kids when I'm older, and the reason is
No. I don't mean like
don't want to-
for you if you went through that. I mean, did that woman do something wrong?
It'll explain. I don't want kids because I don't want to bring them into the world knowing my conditions, my things that I may pass on, like mental health, whatever. I don't want to bring a person into the world having to deal with that, knowing that that's going to be an issue.
But how could you
And
say
I don't
she did
think-
something wrong? If she has the right to abortion, which means what? The right to have the unborn child killed in utero, then she must surely have the right to intentionally maim the child through thalidomide in a way that doesn't take the child's life. Surely you're not saying that maiming is worse than killing.
I think it's completely different because you're setting the child up for an entire full developmental life. and you know what you're setting that child up to live that full
So
life.
it's okay to eliminate the sufferer, but it's okay to intentionally cause suffering.
You're making it so two-dimensional.
Right? Yeah. When you deal.
Yeah,
with,
you are.
Yeah. When you deal with life and death, turns out it's pretty two-dimensional.
Except for the fact that it's not really that two-dimensional when it comes down to, because I think the life and death is, I think we obviously have very differences in ideas of like what life is and what like.
Well,
I think
I follow the
that's
science.
where
I follow the science that when sperm and egg meet, sperm and egg die, and a new human being comes into existence. Do you follow the science? Do you acknowledge it?
I acknowledge that it's a clump of cells, and I acknowledge like the whole.
I acknowledge you're a clump of cells. You're just a larger one. But I mean that a unique DNA that's never existed before and will never exist again came into existence at the moment of conception. That's actually the definition of conception. So do you acknowledge that human life, a new human being, comes into existence then?
I see what you're saying. Yes. I see what you're saying, but I don't think it trumps the life of the fully developed.
Okay, so just to make sure I got your position right, a woman who takes thalidomide to get rid of her nausea, knowing full well that her baby could be born without any arms,
I see what you're doing here.
has done something wrong. But when she pays an abortionist to rip the limbs off intentionally and kill them, I'm sorry, do you not know how a second trimester abortion works? You use forceps. That she has done nothing wrong.
I know what you're talking about. You're just getting.
Did I get that right?
So
practical.
no,
Specific.
no, you're getting so far from practical. You're getting like. The
Do you remember
opposite
Scott
direction.
Peterson in California who murdered his pregnant wife Lacey in the third term and was charged with 2 counts of homicide? Do you remember that case? He finally went to death row, for goodness sake. Why was it wrong for Scott
So you do
Peterson
believe in the death
to murder his unborn child, but would have been perfectly fine if his wife
So
Lacey
you
won?
believe in the death penalty?
For murderers? Yeah. Yeah, no one on this campus seems to know what pro-life
So you
means.
don't
Pro-life doesn't
really
mean all
value-
killing is wrong.
So-
Pro-life does not mean all killing
So
is wrong.
life and death is not black and white. It's not just black and white. You're
When
saying
it comes to innocent people, it is. So the pro-life position, because a lot of people misunderstood it earlier, pro-lifers believe that it's always wrong to intentionally kill innocent human beings. Not that all killing's wrong. I would love to see public hangings
human being
for
is an interesting word. to use
pedophiles
for
who rape
a
children
fetus.
and murderers.
I think human being is an interesting word to use for a fetus, and I think that that's maybe where our
Well, then what is
differences
it?
in an opinion.
Is it a dolphin or a... The
No,
law of
I think-
biogenesis says all living things reproduce after their own kind, which means that dogs can only create dogs, and a male and female can only create according to their own species, which would be human.
A human being, though, is, I think we just have differences of opinions in when like the life starts, and I think that's what it is. I came into this
Yeah, you
conversation
can be
just
wrong
wanting to
about
be
the science, but human life begins at the moment of conception. Maybe
Brother.
maybe you're talking
My
about.
brother, I'm trying to have like a
You mean personhood?
normal, like yes, I'm
Okay.
trying to have like a normal conversation about this. You got so emotional. I'm
just
having.
curious. Do you think all humans are persons?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Great. A university is a great place to be curious. Do you think all humans
Exactly,
are
but I'm an
persons?
anthropology major and I wanted to have this conversation. I think you took it in a lot of different cherry picking directions. And I kind of wanted to have a more open and honest conversation about like where our differences were and where we like kind of aligned. And I think you kept trying to like prove me wrong, and it's a little bit embarrassing because that's not what I was trying to do. I was
Yeah,
trying
so
to
people who support killing babies, turns out I do want to change their mind.
Yes,
But I haven't been
turns
rude
out.
to you. So
No.
you don't want to kill babies in the 9th month or 8th month. I think we said that.
Yeah.
And so I was saying,
I think there's a
why
gray
not?
area, and I don't know quite where I
and
stand
where
on
does the
that.
right to life begin?
Right, so that's what you were trying to get this whole time, where the right to life begins.
If not when one becomes human, then where and
When becomes
how?
human, and when you say it becomes human, you mean at conception, right then.
Yeah, I mean that like
Right, when
we've
it's
known that for
zygote, it's-
decades. That
right.
human life begins at the moment.
When you say like we, but I think it's an ignorant take to have, I think, to like not be able to see what I'm saying there.
I think you're
it's a little
saying
bit-
that you don't attribute dignity and a right to life to something you know is human. And there's been plenty of people who don't believe that all humans are persons. You know, Mussolini believed that, Hitler believed that, and the KKK believed that, the Dred Scott decision. There's been plenty of regimes who have said that some humans aren't persons. And that's what every pro-choicer believes. They believe that the unborn child is human. They're just not a person.
I think you have a very interesting and typical way of going about this. Thanks for talking with me.
Does that concern you at all that you're in the territory of like some of the mass communist murderers of the 20th century who said some humans aren't
Who'd you vote for?
persons? Answer my question first, then I'll answer yours.
Who'd you vote for?
Who did you
And
vote
are you
for?
happy about it? Are you happy about how it's going?
I asked you, are you concerned that you share the same belief as every genocidal maniac communist murderer of the 20th
Are
century?
you concerned we're going to
who said
fascism?
some humans aren't persons? Do you believe that?
No, I don't
Are you
believe that, but I
concerned?
think you know what you're doing, and I think I'm trying to in this conversation.
Right.
I have to go to class.
I'm
I want
challenging
you to-
preconceived notions. That's what I'm doing. With examples that you're not willing to answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My non.
Did you know that
my
the founding board
non-religious,
member of Planned Parenthood was
anthropology major
the part of the
preconceived
KKK?
notions.
Did you know that, for example? There might be a lot of things you'd be interested to learn about.
I
Lothrop
think that
Stoddard,
has-
the
I think
founding
that
board
that's
member of
not-
Planned Parenthood, was the exalted cyclops of the Massachusetts KKK, and he was invited to the Third Reich to be with Hitler in 1939.
So what'd you get out of this
and
conversation?
Joseph Goebbels,
You got out of
that you're
this
not willing to
conversation
answer basic questions
that
about
I
your
am a
pro-abortion
communist.
worldview.
That's what you came out. That's what you got out of this. Is that I'm a
No, I
communist?
said, are you concerned that the belief not
Are
all
you concerned
humans
that you're
are persons
that you're idolizing these
was also shared by every communist maniac murderer of the 20th century? They all believe some humans don't meet their litmus test for personhood.
I don't even know.
That's what the German Supreme Court said. They said Jews aren't persons.
to you.
Dred Scott v. Sanford said the black man is a human but not a person. Roe v. Wade said that the term person is used in the Constitution does not apply to the unborn. So the denial of the personhood of their victim class has always been a shared belief of all the communist mass murderers and eugenicists of the 20th century. And every pro-choicer believes that some humans aren't persons.
I think that that's really interesting that you would say that. I think it's interesting what you've done here, and I don't mean to take up everyone's time.
No, you're fine.
I think it's interesting the way you went about this argument and strawed it, and I kind of.
Good.
I think that that's interesting,
glad
and
you were
I don't
challenged.
necessarily respect it at all. In fact, I don't
I'm sure we
respect
both
anything
don't
you're
respect
doing.
each other's opinion at all.
No, I don't
That's
respect
fine.
you as a person.
But here's the
at
thing,
all.
I wouldn't have slaughtered you in the womb in the name of radical feminism. And I'm glad that you were born so we could have this
And
conversation.
I would have slaughtered you in the womb.
And that tells you everything you need to know about the difference in America right now.